Okay, so now we're talking about bloating. So the whole first page is about coordinating the pelvic floor with a breathing program, with breathing with your diaphragm, which I really like. And that's why I made this bloating tip stuff on the back of that page, because I found that most people that were suffering from bloating were also suffering from poor diaphragmatic breathing and poor diaphragmatic mobility. So then after I release their diaphragm, I'm looking at their whole body. Then I give them this handout of all the things to be thinking of if they suffer from bloating. So I want to point out that the body is this whole big canister, and the pelvic floor is just the bottom part, and the abdomen is the front, and the diaphragm and the ribs is the top, and your spine is what is providing stability in the back. So if there's any breach in this canister, then you're going to suffer anywhere along the way. Hernias, um, uh, bloating, pelvic floor weakness or increased tension, low back pain, and a lot of it can be fixed with looking up here at the breath. So remember that how to relax your pelvic floor. And then I usually fill this out for that person. Like, oh, remember whenever I give you the cue of blah, 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 that is what's really helpful for you to relax your pelvic floor. Sometimes it's breathing, sometimes it's thinking about letting your whole body melt like butter. There's a whole bunch of different cues. And then I also, if I've had to internally and externally release some pelvic floor muscles, then I teach them how to do that. Remember, it's with your wand and you go up like an inch and then you hook it to 3 o'clock and you stay there and you breathe. And I write all that out in there in this handout. Um, so then core activation, transverse abdominis exercises, which remember is no crunching. So that's just letting your belly button kiss your spine, kiss the front of your spine, just nicely pulling in that muscle. That same muscle is the muscle that is your pelvic floor muscle whenever a little bitty baby, whenever like the size of a little bean. So then I also remind them to relax their upper back, their thoracic spine. You can roll on a foam roller. You can provide self CPR, and that actually moves the sternum and the ribs, which is then moving everything in the thoracic spine as well. Then I teach them how to release their diaphragm. You can oof, up under your ribs, you're going to take a breath in. And then as you breathe out, up under your rib cage, breathe in, and then breathe out. Most time I have to go pretty slow under people, so it takes 3 to 5 breaths, and I'll do that several times until I feel like there's just a lot less catching. I also remember to be mindful when you are eating. So letting your GI system stay in the parasympathetic nervous system state while you're eating. So staying in that rest digest. So the whole world is moving 100 miles an hour. So I want you to chew slowly, eat mindfully. So don't put your phone down, turn off the TV, don't eat in the car, don't eat on the rush. Stop eating by 7 or 8 o'clock at night. So that way, as the sun is setting, then so is your body going into that parasympathetic nervous system state. Stay hydrated. There are digestive enzymes that are out there. And they're bananas, green bananas, onions, garlic, asparagus, sweet potato. I am not a diet expert. I do usually, if this is something that is interesting to somebody, then I have a couple of functional medicine doctors that will actually look at the way you eat and change that up from that end of things. Deep breathing. Remember, you're not only breathing with your belly out, but you're also breathing with your ribs out. So that way you're doing this whole 360 breathing and looking at your sitting posture whenever you're eating. Are you eating all hunched over? Are you eating overly erect, or what is going on? And I let people show me in the clinic how they're eating. And then there's a baking soda stomach acid test that I thought was interesting. And so this is to determine how low or high your acid level is. I thought that was interesting, so I put that in there. And then I also included a couple of ways that you can increase or stimulate your stomach acid naturally. And then I also go over a colon massage. So if this is helpful, I love it. I've had a few people that this was helpful yet didn't address everything. And then I asked them to go talk to their primary care doctor about potentially seeing what information they could find on pelvic congestion syndrome. So pelvic congestion syndrome can present as bloating, but it can also present as worse. So like you're having swelling in your feet, but then the lymphatic system at your pelvis is what is causing the sluggishness. I am not lymphatically certified or educated in, except for what we got in PT school. So I usually refer out for this as well. So I hope that all this information was helpful. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Thank you. Take care and God bless.